if there are people, if there are folks here that they've read the book, maybe just read it, and they're like, they've taken it all in, and they're like, okay, what in the heck do I do now? Like, for those folks, what would you say to them? What do they do with all this information?
Yes. Okay. I'm glad you're asking this. So one of the things that I always say is that information does not create change. So I think the book can change your thinking. So it can create some change in that way, give you language, like I said earlier, give you concepts, help you feel like, okay, now I understand what's happening. But I think then you have to do the actual work to heal, especially looking at these different injuries, the 3 different injuries that we talk about in the book. The attachment injury, the emotional, psychological injury, and the sexual injury. There's really specific work to be done around each one of those injuries and understanding who you are and then starting to operate differently in your relationships with others. But even before that, in relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
So when I think about betrayed partners and I think about the trajectory of healing, so much of it is about building a trusting, safe, secure relationship with yourself. And you do that through taking action. So that's not something that you like think your way into. So that's why I say information doesn't create change, right? So that's something that you're going to do by, like, let's say you are trying to repair things with your partner. And as you're in that process, you need to learn how to use your voice effectively. So I always say betrayed partners are often using their voice a lot, but not necessarily using it effectively. Right? They're not using it in a grounded way where they can really be heard, and where they don't set themselves up to be dismissed and all that kind of thing. And so maybe you need to learn how to do that. Well, every time you take a risk and you use your voice and you ask for what you need, or you say what is true for you, or you advocate for something, you build trust with yourself. You actually, through doing that, start to be able to trust yourself. Every time you start to listen to what you need and you start to pay attention to that inner voice that's telling you, like, hey, here's what we need right now. We need a nap. We need some rest. We need connection. We need some play. We need some support. We need whatever it is. Every time you meet the need, you're building trust with yourself. And so that is the big, that is the big core of healing for betrayed partners, is learning to build that relationship with themselves and have this sense of, a strong sense of connection to their core self that then allows them to connect with their partner in a different way than they were connecting with their partner previously, and doing the relationship in a different way. And so if you've read the book, what I would want for you is that you are able to find really good help and really good support to really learn all the skills and tools that you need to build that relationship with yourself, and then also do the relational piece with your partner very differently as well. And that involves taking risks, trying new things, doing things differently than you've been doing them in the past, and having somebody help you know, like, well, what is that different way? What is the different thing that I need to be doing, and then implementing on it and doing that around each of those 3 core injuries in different ways. So that would be my thing that I would say. You've read the book. What would you need to do next, or what would be the great thing for you to do? It would be to really do that work. Yeah.
Is that some of what y'all do in Braving Hope?
Yes. Yeah. That's what we're doing in Braving Hope, is doing that.
I know there's a lot more.
You're getting a lot of information in Braving Hope, but the purpose of Braving Hope is to help you actually implement on the information.
Yeah.
And so to take the information and learn how to put it into action and address and work on the fears that can keep you stuck.
Mm.
And I talk about this in the book, but one of the biggest fears that we have as betrayed partners is that if we, well, actually, I'm going to like deviate for a minute. So one of the things that I'm thinking about with the training, and I've got some new language that's not in the book around this, but the new language, what I'm talking about, the new language that I'm using for this is, I call it the core self bind. And what this bind is this fear that if I listen to me, if I listen to myself and I think about what's best for me, and I ask for what's best for me in the relationship, or I say what's really true for me in the relationship, my partner won't like it. And then they'll withdraw from me, or they'll leave me, or they'll be mad at me. And in some way, when I hold on to myself, I'll experience relational loss. And the fear of that, of experiencing that relational loss, and the fear that you won't be able to tolerate it and handle it, can drive you into deselfing behaviors, like behaviors where you abandon your core self, you abandon what's good for you. And so what we're doing in Braving Hope is also working on that fear piece. And we're working on how to help you start to take steps and take risks that you can tolerate. We're not trying to like push you off the edge of a cliff, right?
Right.
It's not doing that, but take risks that you can tolerate to try to help you build your sense of resilience and your sense of trust and your belief that you can hold on to yourself and also be in relationship with another person, and also tolerate times when they don't handle things well and they do withdraw, or they do, in some way you feel lost in the relationship. So we're working on all of that in there. Yeah.